Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. It is Friday, May 22nd, 2020. See, I got the date right tonight. Damian Nelson here from, well, remotely, not in the PWR studios. But, you know, we did a Prime Time last night, and it was so much great conversation and content, we didn't get a chance to Be the Booker for AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view, which is Saturday night, tomorrow night. So we brought the band back together, and I am here with my co-host with the leastest, David Octavius and Tiberius, the alleged backyard, one-time, knockout, straight-edge, hardcore Hall of Famer Herro, and we are joined by Shane Hurricane Helms. Hurricane, welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time.
I'm going to refer to Dave as the beast with the least. How about that?
Yes! Yes! Let me write that down.
It's a little bit of a compliment, but not too much.
No, not too much at all. Yeah, exactly.
And it rhymes.
It does.
Well, Dave, how you doing here on a Friday?
You know what? I'm doing great. Hey, we made it through another week of COVID-19. I mean, come on. We're starting to get out of the lockdown. Nothing but amazing things happening. State fairs being canceled, public pools being closed. I mean, come on. We're on our way.
All of the things are being closed that I never intended to go to anyway. Because I stay my ass at home, period. So,
yeah. Well, guys, let's get right down to it. We got a lot to talk about. There are a lot of matches coming up on Double or Nothing from AEW. I believe their second effort in this namesake. It was originally supposed to be from Las Vegas, Nevada at the MGM Grand Arena, as it was last year. Of course, they have canceled all events or had canceled all events at least through May 31st. And this was to occur, obviously, tomorrow on the 23rd. So it wasn't going to happen there. It will be in Jacksonville, Florida, a combination of different facilities, mostly probably coming to us from Daly's Place, where we've seen Dynamite for the last few weeks. But let's get right down to the matches. And first, in case you don't remember, here's what happens on this show, fans watching at home. We talk about the way the matches would go if the two experts, Dave and Shane, would be booking the show. So I simply am here for, what do you call it? It's not opinion, Dave, because that's what you do. I'm here to guide the ship, steer the ship, if you will. And these two will tell us how the match should go, how the match will go, and how the match would go if they were the ones booking it. And the most important part, why. So with that, let's start with what is not a preliminary match, but a match that will be on the buy-in. And that is going to be just announced this past Wednesday on Dynamite. Dave, it is Dustin Rhodes versus Shawn Spears. Of course, we know in the corner of Shawn Spears, more often than not, probably as well tomorrow, will be Tully Blanchard. What would you say you would do in this match?
Well, this is a big match for Dustin because he's coming off the big butt whooping from Lance Archer. And Shawn Spears hasn't been on TV that much lately. You know, they're trying to find his tag team partner. Tully Blanchard should be with him. And Shawn Spears needs to be aggressive. He needs to get back into the swing of everything AEW if he plans on being a big player. I mean, he's almost to the point where what happened in NXT and WWE, where he winds up getting lost in the shuffle. So I fully expect QT Marshall to be with Dustin Rhodes along with Brandy against Shawn Spears. It's going to be physical. I mean, Dustin's beat up, so you would expect that Shawn Spears works over Dustin the entire match, but you got to believe Shawn Spears in the end does need to get the victory over Dustin Rhodes to propel him, to get him back going and doing some bigger and better things in AEW.
So, Dave, you would book Shawn Spears to win this match for all the reasons you just said. Shane, how would you book this match, if any differently?
This match is a little tough. First of all, I want to say, as we break these matches down match by match, then at the end, some of that might change because, and I don't know how Dave booked his show specifically, but when I was a booker, a show has to tell a story as well as a match does. So individually, there might be a way I would have leaned a certain way, but then if I feel like a show is too babyface heavy, if I feel a show is too heel heavy, I'll go back and make some adjustments. So just throwing that out there, and that's a weird train of thought, but it's how I booked Omega. And my shows are fucking barn burners. Let's be real. Did I say barn burner?
You can say barn burner. Yeah, barn burner is actually, no, that's on the recently banned terms of wrestling terms on the show.
And looking at that, I'm leaning toward Dustin here because I feel Shawn Spears has room for growth. Dustin Rhodes, while he is really great right now, you got to imagine that there's only a couple more years left. So I would try to get the most out of Dustin that you can right now. He did just come off that ass whoop, but I don't feel like a loss to Dustin Rhodes is going to hurt Sean. But this one's tough because I feel like both guys need to win, and that presents the problem from a booking standpoint. Both of these guys need to win, and also I don't know if a loss will hurt Dustin either because he's kind of there. So this one could go either way, but I'm leaning toward the guy with the market value, the guy with the name value, and I'm gonna go with Dustin Rhodes right now.
All right. Well, our first split in our first match, Dave going for Sean Spears, or would book rather Sean Spears. Shane would book Dustin to win this matchup. So now that you guys have talked about how you would book it, what do you think we're actually going to see happen come this Saturday at Double or Nothing, Dave?
You know, I honestly think that it's going to be Sean Spears getting the victory. I think that there's going to be a lot of story being told in that match. It may not even be in the buy-in anymore. It may actually get moved up to the main show. But you have two guys, again, you know, Shane and I have both said, two guys that both need a win. They both need to get on the right track. And Dustin is iconic. He's a legend. He's the kind of guy that he will always be over no matter what. Sean Spears, you know, he's already had a few different reboots in NXT, in WWE, and OVW, in Deep South. He needs to find his niche and find his spot.
All right, well, I can't argue with that, even though I may come back and decide to do so later. Next match we'll talk about is a tag team match, and this will determine the number one contender for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. And in this matchup, we're going to see Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, teaming up to take on the best friends, that of Chuck Taylor and Trent. One of these teams will get the opportunity at the Tag Team Championships, and maybe that changes the way you would book it. Maybe it doesn't. But Shane, we'll start with you. How would you book this match on tomorrow's event?
The Best Friends are one of my favorite tag teams right now, especially when they got Orange Cassidy out there. So I think they're an organic team, a team that, you know, you really believe in their chemistry. This one could go either way. If you're going for, you know, future, I think Private Party, just as I mentioned with Sean Spears, I think we got plenty of years to do stuff with Private Party. I don't know how many more years we got left of the Best Friends, and I feel like they're hot right now. And you can't keep pulling them back every time they get close. That's booking I've seen happen a lot. When somebody gets hot, hey, let's pull the rug back a little bit. I don't like that booking. I like the Best Friend. I like the Best Friends in this one. All
right, Dave Herro, what would you do?
I absolutely agree with Shane. I mean, you haven't seen Private Party on TV in 6-7 weeks. You've invested all this time, effort, and money getting Best Friends and Orange Cassidy over, working with everybody on the roster. Why would you swap out now? Go with the team you've invested the last, 5, 6, 7 weeks of TV time in. Best Friends are over. Private Party, we haven't missed them that much, in the last 6 weeks. 2 or 3 more weeks isn't going to be that much of a big deal. I'm going to go with the Best Friends.
All right, fair enough. No more to say about that match, but the next match could be interesting. It is a singles match, and after what we saw on Wednesday, one of them, they're going to be in a unique spot, if in a spot in this match. It's going to be Chris Statlander going up against Dr. Britt Baker. It's a one-on-one singles match in the women's division of AEW. Dave Herro, as you know, this past Wednesday, you think she may have broken her leg, but if she's able to participate, or if not, how would you book this match for Saturday?
Boy, I mean, if Britt Baker can in fact make it, she's another one. She's been doing a lot of great stuff on TV. She's been obnoxious. She's been narcissistic. Everything you could ask for her to be as far as that heel, she's absolutely done. But she needs to start winning matches, because the ones that she has been in, they haven't been big wins. They haven't been that eventful. For her to beat Chris Statlander, who I think is definitely one of the up-and-comer ladies in AEW, it has to start with Britt Baker getting the win. by hook or by crook. However she does it, she's got to get it done, but she needs to win on Saturday.
Britt Baker for the win. Shane Helms, how would you book this match?
I'm going opposite direction on this one. I like Statlander. I'll be surprised if this match happens based on, maybe they just sold us both a ticket this past week with the selling of the leg. Maybe they pulled that Sabu gimmick. They sold so well that I'm buying it. But the doctor did look hurt, and so but hopefully she can get through this. But looking forward, I'm thinking who can match the best with the champ, Nyla Rose, and Statlander to me is the one out of all the girls in the AEW division that match the best with Nyla Rose. And so she's the one, and she's just really stood out to me in the last couple of weeks in these multi-person matches that they've been involved in. So she's the one that I think you build that division around. I build that division around Statlander.
Shane, would you, if Baker can't go, do you replace Britt Baker with somebody else? Or does Statlander get the win by forfeit, which then they can build more heat on going forward?
That kind of seems like a heel thing to do. Is Statlander a full heel? Is she somebody you really boo? Maybe they go to give her a forfeit. Maybe you bring out another competitor and calls out Statlander and you have an impromptu match, which is the only way I ever have liked impromptu matches. I hate that these, especially on TV, we have these holes in the card where you can just have an impromptu match as if the company didn't have anything planned. But if there was a match, competitor can't make it, somebody else comes out to challenge them. I'm not sure who that would be. Then you have a match and you still give Statlander the win. Cedric Alexander's wife she's there. She's a fantastic talent. If that happens, maybe bring her out. I know her and Statlander could tear it up. So that's what I would go with. But either way, I'm pushing Statlander.
All right, good discussion. We are discussing AEW Double or Nothing, Part 2, which is taking place tomorrow night from Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, it was going to be from Las Vegas. Let's just pretend it's from Las Vegas. The president earlier today, I don't know if you heard this, Shane. I know you follow him closely. He ordered that churches are essential and must immediately be reopened, overriding any government orders. Gee, I wonder why. But be that as it may.
First of all, they have holy water, they have communion and blessed wine. Everyone's going to be fine. It'll be okay.
We're going to leave that there and immediately regretted bringing that up.
let me clarify. I do not follow him closely with anything other than disgust.
Folks, it's the AEW Women's World Championship will be on the line. It is a no disqualification and no count out match as Akira Shida challenges the champion, Nyla Rose. Big time stakes in this matchup. Shane Helms, how would you book it?
I book Nyla Rose. I keep her going strong. Not that AEW's had a lot of championship changes, but I still think as a new company, let's establish these championships. She actually looked really good this past week. So I would continue that. I continue to build towards Statlander and Nyla Rose. So Nyla Rose wins. Statlander is the next challenger, and that's what I would go with. And as far as for the competitor, and this is me being super nitpicky, but I think that's what separates the levels of the game. I would encourage the challenger here to come up with a different look. I just see somebody that reminds me of Asuka. And I don't know who came up with that look to begin with. Well, Asuka might have got it from somebody, but I see it's too similar of a look for somebody that's carrying the division or the face of a division in another company. It seems like a knockoff, and it more than likely isn't intentional at all. But that's not the point. That's the point. That's what I see, and I don't think I'm the only one that sees it that way.
All right, Dave Herro, what do you say?
You got to believe Nyla Rose. They've invested this much time and effort, money in her, and Akira Shida. She's been great, but is she the one that they want to now take the ball and run with it? I think Shane's right. There's a lot more money in Nyla Rose and Statlander, but especially now if Britt Baker is going to be on the shelf for a little while, that's absolutely the direction you have to go in. I just can't see Nyla Rose losing this kind of a match. She's just too big, too strong, too tough. Unless they run her over with a semi-truck, I just can't see her losing on Saturday.
All right, strong for Nyla Rose. Do you think, now that's the way you guys are both booking it, and I think logic may follow suit, but do you think that's the route AEW actually goes on Double or Nothing?
It depends on what they want. What they want for the totality of the show. Maybe they need an upset. Maybe they need a big babyface moment here. So, I mean, it kind of depends on the totality of the show for what they need. But as far as for what Shane Helms would pick, I'm going Nyla Rose on this one.
Talk about why that's important, though, Shane. You talk about the totality of the show. Placement also matters, right? And
Placement matters.
Sometimes the results of the matches dictate their placement, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, comparing it to other sports, if you watch MMA, when it's all upsets, there are no upsets, and we've seen shows where it's just the guy you didn't want to win wins every fight, and you're kind of like, oh my God, this thing sucked, so we have the ability in pro wrestling to at least try to manipulate the emotions a little bit. That's the one of the goals. And so maybe you need an upset. An upset is, one of the best things in sports. So maybe we need an upset here, just to get the home crowd, because there's not going to be a live audience. So that might be a variable in their thinking as well. It would be in mine.
Yeah. Good point, folks. We are talking about AEW Double or Nothing. You see right now on the bottom of the screen here, you see all of our Twitter handles. Follow us on Twitter. All of you are already following Shane, so do us a favor. Follow myself and Dave as well, at Davian Olson, at David Herro, and, of course, at Shane Helms.com. And we thank you very much for joining us. This is fun, good discussion as we are fantasy booking, if you will, the AEW Double or Nothing. I'll have that set by the end of this broadcast. Pay-per-view event, Saturday, coming to us from Florida. The next match we're going to talk about is, it's a casino ladder match, all right? So everybody and their mother and brother and sister are in this match. Let me name the names slowly. And remember, in this casino ladder match, it's similar to that of the Money in the Bank ladder match. The winner gets an opportunity at the AEW World Championship. We don't know how. We don't know if it's a cash-in or what have you, but they will get the same opportunity afforded to them. So, the endorsed and member of the Nelson family, Darby Allin. Shane, I should bring you up to speed. We've got our fantasy wrestling draft that Dave and I are participating in that I win every year. And we have picked our teams a couple of weeks ago. I have to announce a replacement today, by the way. So as I give you these names, I will, of course, be putting over those who will get me points in the fantasy draft, one of them being the first participant, Darby Allin.
Okay.
Joining him will be Colt Cabana against Orange Cassidy, against Ray Phoenix, against Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Frankie Kazarian, Luchasaurus, and one more participant to be named later. So you got an interesting way to book this. This has to be a challenge, by the way. I don't envy either of you at all, because we don't necessarily need to know who. I mean, it's not eliminations, but you have to climb the ladder and grab whatever the prize is. But there's so many ways these matches to go, and you've got an additional thing to consider, which is there's another entrant, and you don't know who they are. So with that, Dave, I'll put you on the spot and start with you.
I was hoping I could steal, some of Shane's ideas, but all these guys involved. I mean, first of all, there's the mystery guest. If I'm going to book it from what I've seen on TV, and Shane, you and I even talked about it on Thursday night, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Wardlow is that other entrant, because him and Luchasaurus have been going back and forth for the next couple of weeks, because you need somebody else in that match that can match up with the strength and size of a Luchasaurus. But, you have Darby Allin, who this match is made for him with all of his crazy spots, his no fear. A lot of people have said that Darby Allin is this generation, this era's Jeff Hardy. Scorpio Sky has got to be a favorite. Colt Cabana is a fan favorite. I don't see him winning the match. Orange Cassidy, I doubt he would even exert that much energy to climb a ladder. I think Ray Phoenix is definitely going to steal the show. Kip Sabian and Frankie Kazarian, two solid guys. I like the fact that I'm expecting to see Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky go at it at one point, maybe climb the ladder against each other to try to grab that chip. But I think when it's all over and done with, it's going to come down to two people. Darby Allin, the guy who lost to Cody Rhodes in a very weird, very kabuki-ish tournament match a couple of weeks ago. I think Darby Allin needs this because the way he's being used, he's the one guy that got his own vignette on Wednesday night regarding the ladder match.
It was damn good,
that
too.
That right there is kind of a tell as to who they're investing in. But Scorpio Sky has been absolutely fantastic. And you would like to believe that Scorpio Sky is definitely going to be a future AEW World Champion at one point. But again, it really depends as to who the World Champion is going to be. It's going to be John Moxley. It's going to be Brody Lee. So, but I'm going to say
that's the complications there, Dave, of this
exactly.
matchup.
Well, because there's a lot of baby faces in this match.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, I'm going to go with Darby Allin just because I think he's come so close in so many matches. He had the draw with Cody Rhodes. He lost to Cody. He was featured heavily in the vignette, and he has the least amount of fear of everybody in there. But right now, there's probably 3 or 4 guys that could win that match. But I'm going to go with Darby Allin.
Darby Allin, thank you for the points, Dave. This is sort of Darby's kind of match too, right? So it makes some sense. But Shane, it's tricky, it's complicated, but how would you book it?
There's not a lot I disagree with what Dave said. Actually, I'm not going to disagree with anything he said. It's hard to book this without knowing who that mystery competitor is. You know, I mean, obviously that makes it difficult. You got to think they're saving this surprise, and a lot of time when there's a surprise, that person goes on to win this particular type of match. That's how I won the Cruiserweight title in the Rumble. I was the surprise entrance. Next thing you know, I left with it. So I've been a victim of that booking. Well, not a victim. I've been a winner for that booking. If MJF didn't already have a match, I would have him be the surprise. He could actually still be the surprise anyway. If he runs through Jungle Boy, comes out, hey, I'm going to do this one too. He's got the heater with Warlow there to kind of help him win it.
And that would be best for his character, right? MJF, because you'd hate him that much more, right?
Yeah, you'd hate him that much more. Darby Allin, he's challenged for the championship before, so he kind of has that name value. He can definitely challenge for it again. If we run down the list, Colt Cabana, popular character. OC, super popular. Phoenix, you got another guy's popular. There's a lot. This is babyface heavy. And that leads me to believe it's going to be a heel win. So I'm not exactly.
That's against what Dave said. Dave said it was going to be a face for that reason. This is good. I like it.
But just because it stacks the odds. So if you got, like, let's say MJF somehow ends up in this match and he beats all of these babyface competitors at a time, that guy doesn't shut up for 20 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's something you can use. But if we're going with a babyface, Scorpio Sky, a guy I tried to bring into TNA to no avail, but I tried. I think there's definitely a big upside to him. Scorpio Sky or Darby Allin. Luchasaurus, I mean, he has the size. I don't know why. I know we talked about this on the show. I don't know why they punked him out the last couple of weeks. That seems odd. But this one is a hard pick. I'm going to go with whoever the surprise is. I don't know how we can do that, but I'm going with the surprise.
That sounds almost like a Bobby Heenan pick in the Royal Rumble or any Battle Royal. I've been for him all along. You know, so my next question, Shane, was going to be, who should that mystery person be? Because they've got a lot of people in the hopper that are available now, not necessarily as many as people think because of no competes and whatever else, but now I'd be asking you to say who's going to win, and that's much more difficult. So I'll give you the chance to answer it, but first I'll go to Dave to give his thoughts. Dave, who do you think might be that surprise entrant? Who will be wearing the title of TVA on Saturday night?
I mean, it's going to come down to 3 people, I think. I think Wardlow is definitely the odds-on favorite. But then you can't forget about the Revival. I mean, they're available. Yeah. And they could easily be there. But they're not the Revival, they're the Revolt, but they're really called FTR. I'm not too sure what they're going to be called, but, you know, I fully expect to see them showing up at some point in Jacksonville.
So that's assuming it's a new person. Shane, you said several times.
Or you know what? Well, I was going to say, if Chris Jericho wasn't in the Stadium Stampede match, I wouldn't be shocked if Jericho showed up.
Yeah. Well, Shane, you said several times that MJF, he could be that TBA person. He could win it. So maybe you've answered the question already, but I'll give you an opportunity if you have anything else to add as to who speculatively that, if it's not MJF, that other participant may be.
If it's not Scott Hall, then I really don't know who it's I'm just going to go out on a limb here. You know, I'm going to go bold.
Hey, yo.
I think, you know, maybe Zack Ryder pops in there, and he somehow got out of the no compete. Who knows?
I understand Bagwell's healthy. He could show up too.
I understand Bagwell's not healthy. I feel like evidence has shown me the exact opposite of healthy.
Yep. Well, thank you guys for that. More matches, and now we're getting into really the biggest matches of the night. We'll go to, since you mentioned it, Shane, the matchup between Jungle Boy and MJF. MJF with Wardlow in his corner. Obviously, Jungle Boy's got his associates, if you will, as well. This match has been building pretty solidly over the last few weeks, and after overcoming that substantial injury that MJF suffered a couple of weeks back, he now comes back to compete on pay-per-view against Jungle Boy. How would you book it?
You want me first? I go with MJF destroys Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
He can use Wardlow if he wants. I don't know if that's necessary. And also, if Wardlow is going back for a short, brief moment, if he actually wins the ladder match, what power does MJF have over him? Could it be a situation where he wins and then gives? Is it a briefcase we're going for? Whatever it is, he gives it to MJF. Sort of an Andre the Giant, Ted DiBiase scenario. Really, really big throwback. But I pick MJF in this one. I don't think you derailed the MJF train whatsoever.
Oh my God! You know what you say? You say the Andre the Giant $1 Million Man scenario, and I think back to the referee swap. There are still twin referees in the business. What are their names? I forget. The ones that look sort of like me.
Oh yeah, I tried to. I wanted to do a spot in TNA with those guys. We do a twin ref spot and have Earl come in because Earl was working there, and I wanted Earl to be the one to catch it.
Brilliant.
And they wouldn't do it, and I was like.
And wait, Shane. Now you say that. Take credit now because take credit now. Where does Earl work now? Technically, AEW.
There you go. Please
that's
make that happen, somebody.
That was, remember how awesome that was when that happened? It was on either the main event, Saturday night's main event. It was like, oh my God, this.
And Damien, you're talking about the King brothers.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
But that would be nice. That would be fun. Huh.
I don't think they look like you at all.
No. There's a picture. There is look. Two stories. First of all, so it was Atlanta.
You know I'm afraid of twins. First of all, so the fact that I even suggested that storyline, I should get a bonus. But
it was Atlanta, part of WrestleMania 28, and we were at the hotel, and Gerald Briscoe, of all people, never met before in my life, comes walking up to me, gives me the biggest hug. Hey, good to see you. How you been? How's everything going? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no idea. Never met him. And then shortly thereafter, I meet the twins, and we get a picture together. So there's photographic evidence that we do look alike for more than obvious reasons. But I think Gerald Briscoe thought I was one of them.
That's funny.
And there was a Briscoe in the car, but that's not for here to be told. So, Dave, what do you say on this match?
You know what? You cannot go against MJF right now. I mean, he's definitely the guy with a ton of steam. He destroyed Marco Stunt. And I don't think he's going to destroy the Jungle Boy, but I definitely think it's going to be a little more competitive than what we saw against Marco Stunt, just because I really believe that AEW, the powers that be, love and appreciate Jungle Boy, and he just can't tear through the entire Jurassic Express because eventually he's going to have to get to Luchasaurus.
Yeah.
So I do see it to be a little bit more of a competitive match. Not much, but absolutely MJF will leave the ring the victor.
So here's my question. As we both both of you pick MJF in that matchup. There's 3 matches remain. I don't know which one's the main event. And that's probably good because maybe it's a triple main event. You got Cody and Lance Archer. You got Jon Moxley and Brody Lee. And then you've got the Stadium Stampede match. So which one would you guys deem as the main, which means we'll do that one last?
You got to believe whatever match has Mike Tyson. Wouldn't you agree, Shane?
There it is.
In this era, no. I think in this era, with the no audience era, whatever they do with that stadium match probably will be what I would do last.
Okay, well then we will talk about that one last, which leaves next the match to talk about. We'll start with you, Dave, on this one. It is Jon Moxley versus Brody Lee. And, Jon Moxley is trying to get his hands back on that AEW World Championship from one Mr. Brody Lee. How would you book this one, Dave?
If it was me, I wouldn't book this one at all right now.
We come in hot.
I mean, Brody Lee, he's a great talent. He's just been there for a cup of coffee. He's done nothing to become #1 contender. For me, I'm looking at this like, didn't we see this match a year ago when it was the Wyatts against the Shield? Now it's a singles match. Brody Lee he did nothing. He has not done nothing spectacular in the last couple of years. And now he stole the title. Now he's going to get a chance to win it. I think that AEW could have gone with one of their own homegrown guys first instead of a mid-card guy that just got released 2 months ago. So Jon Moxley, he's going to win this match. There's no reason why he should lose. I don't think he's in – unless they send down all those guys in the hoods to beat him up, there's no way Jon Moxley can lose this match.
It's boys in the hood.
He's the guy that they've invested in. He beat Chris Jericho. So you're not going to have Brody Lee come in that couldn't get past Rowan to now beat Jon Moxley and become the world champion.
But are you looking at it the wrong way, Dave? Because you're looking at it as Brody Lee in WWE, not Mr. Brody Lee that they've established in AEW. Is that fair to make that
You look
comparison?
at Jon Moxley as Dean Ambrose, don't you? You look at Chris Jericho as Chris Jericho. I mean, he is who he is. It's not like there's a whole lot of time in between where they could get the stink of the Wyatt off of the guy.
Oh, my. Okay. All right. So you just clean off your shovel, Dave. Shane.
It's no burial. It's the truth.
Moxley and Brody Lee, AEW Championship.
I'm not going to clean off Dave's shovel. I'm actually going to grab one of my own and help him out.
Oh, my. Okay.
I agree 100%. If I'm booking, this match doesn't happen. If I'm booking, Chris Jericho still the AEW champion. If I'm booking. Be that as it may, I have Moxley going over in this match. I agree. I don't know if just off the strength of your resume with a past company, you come in and just become the #1 contender automatically. I don't like that. I like bringing in guys, building them up through the ranks. And two, because of maybe their hand has been forced because of the current COVID climate. Maybe that was the case.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it is or not, but I agree with Dave. I don't know. I'm not that excited right now about the Brody Lee character. Now, I was excited about him as a talent. I know how good he is, and I pushed for him to do certain things in the previous life. But right now, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling this character. I'm not feeling this feud. Just let me go steal your championship, and now we're going to hate each other over a championship you've barely held on to. Moxley doesn't really seem like he even cares about being a champion.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really fit his character.
Right.
So I don't get the feeling that he cares about the championship. So why am I supposed to care about this story, period? And I don't. And those are the reasons why. But that being said, I see Moxley winning. There might not even be a finish. I don't know if we need a finish here. I know AEW probably is going to, have finishes. Non-finishes sometimes really suck, and they can suck the life out of a crowd, which crowd isn't going to be there, but they can suck the life out of the show. But you got all of these people in the hood. I see a lot of interference. I see Moxley fighting these guys, and I see him coming out with the championship. That's what I
know. One of my biggest fears is that this resembles TNA back in the day when Raven came in and became the NWA TNA champion. Then Rhino grabbed the belt, and then Christian. It seems like every time somebody got released and came into TNA, boom, here's the championship. Your mid-card guy is now our world champion. And I know that's not the direction they want to go in, but that's how it seems to me right now.
Yeah, you got to be careful about it. And that's a double-edged sword, because just because this person came from a different company doesn't mean they're not completely qualified. But you got to be careful, like David says, that you got all this homegrown talent that you can use. You know, that doesn't need to be the reason why they get the push, because they came from a certain place. If they have the skills and they have the talent, the drawing power, the marketability, then yes, we can do that. But 100%, I agree with Dave. You don't want to create that, hey, just because you came from WWE, you deserve an automatic push, pat on the ass here. And that seems like that's what's happened with this story.
You know, great insight by the both of you. Thank you for that. But neither of you want this match to happen. Neither of you said you would book this match. If you look at it, though, the question I think that is there is, should there be a championship match on this pay-per-view? And is it okay for them to have this championship match on this pay-per-view because there's so much else going on it that they can check the box and say the championship was defended? Or would it be better, had been better, even though this is a stacked show, to just not have had a championship match?
I think if your championship and your champion isn't in demand so much that he needs to be on every show, that's a problem. Your guy, your main guy, the fans should be clamoring for him to be on every show. And that doesn't mean he needs to be on every episode of Dynamite or AEW or whatever, but he needs to be on the pay-per-views.
Fair enough. And to the point you made before, Shane, about Moxley not showing the importance of the championship, he basically said as much this past Wednesday night on Dynamite. You know, I don't care about the belt. But even though he did say, bring the belt back out to me, but he several times seemed to just basically flat out say, I don't need the belt. And that proves your point.
Yeah, that's a personal preference for Shane Helms.
Yeah.
That's just something I hate. I think, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, and which means I'm, losing oxygen in my brain, so please help me out. But I think you hold those championships to the utmost importance. That needs to be the most valuable things in those companies, are those championships. Ain't said enough.
All right, the next match, folks, takes the endorsed and member of the Nelson family, Cody, with Arn Anderson in his corner, against Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts in his corner. And as you mentioned, Dave Herro, this match, the stakes not high enough. So added to it, presenting the championship to whoever wins. This, of course, the finals in the tournament for the AEW TNT Championship. Mike Tyson, returning to wrestling pay-per-view for the first time in a long time. He will be presenting the championship to the winner. So you guys got a lot to work with here, because clearly you don't bring Tyson in just to say hello. Shane Helms, what would you do in this match?
I go with Cody. I go with Mike Tyson, handing him the championship at the end. There's your moment that will last forever, and you need those moments. Lance has a good future, and he's going to be good. Lance has got plenty of time to do good things in the company. Right now, you run with Cody, and I have Cody winning. And you can do some interference. Maybe, I don't know if Mike punches out Jake Roberts, but who knows? Crazier things have happened. I did just see the Sandman high-five Michael Jordan on ESPN. You did not book 2020. I don't know what'll happen, but I don't know what we do with Arn. Like we talked about, the fanboy in me would love to see Arn punch out Jake, or Jake punch out Arn, or something like that. I don't know what we can do with that. But if Tyson's there and Tyson wants to punch somebody, maybe he punches Lance Archer. Lance Archer, whatever folds, that leads into the finish by Cody, and there's your champion. Who knows? But I'm going with Cody.
I agree. I think this match is going to be very physical. It's going to be borderline violent. I think it's going to be a lot of Cody fighting back from underneath. I think that Lance Archer is going to probably get 60-70% of the match, because he's the big badass. He's the murder mohawk. let's not forget Brandy. She seems
Yes.
to always get involved somehow in Cody's matches. And you got to believe that's going to be because of Jake, which then I can see Arn coming to Brandy's aid. And, you still got Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall, all part of the Nightmare family there's a whole lot of shenanigans that can happen in this match. But I think when it's all said and done, I completely expect to see Mike Tyson knocking out Lance Archer. And then the big victory is Cody, Brandy, and Mike Tyson in the middle of the ring with their hands held high. Because let's face it, right now, Cody can never become the AEW World Champion. He lost that when he lost his match to Jericho. Well, I think him being the TNT champion with his hand raised by Mike Tyson kind of jumps over that a little bit, and then makes Cody the true face of AEW wrestling.
Don't forget, Mike Tyson can knock out Brandy. There's all kinds of ways we could go in.
It's not Indianapolis, it's Jacksonville. It's a big difference.
Hey, here's my question, though, guys, for both of you. Are you limiting the capabilities of what AEW is planning to do with Tyson? Because Tyson's not in this for a one-off, it doesn't seem. He's trying to make a career comeback. He's trying to get into another fight. He loves professional wrestling. His appearance in WWE in '98 occurred over a 3-month period of time. Granted, they paid him a lot of money. AEW also has a lot of money. Might we see more come out of this? Could it be the opposite? Could it be Cody getting knocked out by Mike Tyson and a story developing there, maybe not leading to a wrestling match per se, but are they looking to get one night pop out of this and that image that you said, Dave, of those three standing in the ring, championship held high? Or are they going to capitalize this and further monetize this further than just Double or Nothing? Shane, what would you say?
I don't think there's any way in the world you're going to get an audience to boo Mike Tyson right now. So I wouldn't even try to go that route. He's, Mike Tyson in the DX era, he still had that little bit of asshole in him. He still had that mean streak. So we might could have bought it at the time. And the two, and going with the push and shove against Austin, you kind of could buy it a little bit. Now he's beloved. He's reached that icon status where we're not going to boo him. So,
was it The Hangover?
Yeah,
Did
exactly.
it?
The Hangover did it. So there's nothing they can do that's going to make me boo Mike Tyson. So, not saying that they won't, but I wouldn't even try to fight upstream on that one.
And for me, looking at it, you can tell they are completely committed to Cody Rhodes. They're bringing in Iron Mike Tyson with a huge paycheck with no fan base. There's no one buying a ticket. There's no one buying a Mike Tyson t-shirt, anything. So they're investing this money into this match to do one bit of business, and that's to get that new champion over.
And if I'm Jake the Snake, I'm bringing in Buster Douglas.
Can they find Buster Douglas? Is he anywhere still? I mean, I know that Tyson wants to fight Holyfield, but maybe that's what they wind up doing. Maybe they watched the Michael Jordan tribute and they saw Malone in DDP against Hogan and Rodman. Maybe it'll be Cody and Evander Holyfield against Tyson and Lance Archer.
You never know. But I don't know how you boo Holyfield either. So,
well, he can only hear half of it anyhow, so it's not that big of a deal. So.
See what you did there.
Moving on, folks. The next matchup, the main event, is deemed earlier. It is the Stadium Stampede match. So it is the Elite: Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Matt Hardy, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, who returned this past Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, going up against the Inner Circle, led by Chris Jericho, including Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, endorsed and part of the Nelson family, Santana, and Ortiz as well. They came out looking pretty good at the end of the episode of Dynamite this past week. However, the last image we saw was that of the Elite standing in their end zone. This match, I don't even fully know the rules of it. I know the ring's at the 50-yard line, and they got a stampede to get it or whatever. I said this was like a world-class championship wrestling match of old, it seemed, but the concept is new, and it is going to be executed at Double or Nothing. One of these teams will win. Dave, who would it be, rather, if you were booking it?
Well, I think they completely dropped the ball on how the build of this match would have gone. I would have much rather have seen it set up like the Avengers Endgame, you know, where it's Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy are there, and Matt uses his teleporting products to all of a sudden, hey, look, there's Bucks. Hey, look, there's Paige. Because we have seen those guys for so long, and they just randomly show up on a Wednesday night. It would have been cool if they would have had the doubt of, are the Bucks going to show up? Is Hangman Page going to show up? I mean, Kenny's here, Matt's here. Where's the rest of the elite? And then eventually they show up as the cavalry in the end. I think it would have been for better TV. Instead, well, hey, now they're all one big unit together. You got 5 or 6 guys on each side. It's going to be hard to watch everybody.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be a lot of cut shots going back and forth. But you have to leave the elite, have to come back and win. You haven't seen them for so long. They have to get their steam back. And it's something that can drive Jericho that much crazier. But I really think it would have been better if they could have done, like, I'm sure Shane understands when Endgame, when Doctor Strange and all the heroes came in the end to help to bail out Captain America, it was the feel-good moment of the entire movie. I think AEW could have done the same thing by having the Young Bucks, Adam Page, eventually show up to come and save the day.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying, and I think who goes over here depends on what the actual last match of the pay-per-view is going to be. What final impression do you want to leave on the fans? If you want to leave the fans with the final impression being Mike Tyson and Cody Rhodes, then maybe we got the Inner Circle going over here. If you want to leave them off at the end of the night, if this was the last match, there's a part of me that always likes to leave the fans happy at the end of the night. I always like that babyface moment at the end of the night. But this is a promoter's dream match here because both of these teams could lose, and it's fine. Both of these teams could win, and it's fine. Nobody's going to be hurt either way. So what's the best thing we can come up with? This is a part where you don't really have to worry about politics, it doesn't seem to me. If the Inner Circle loses, they can find a way to get their heat back. If the elite loses, they can find a way to get the steam back. So this isn't an end-all, be-all match here. It isn't a match where one team needs a win or they're going to lose so much steam they're going to suffer. This can go either way. If it were me and looking at the card, if this was on last and we got Moxley, we got the babyface champion retaining, we got Cody as a babyface winning the TNT championship. It looks like that babyface ladder match is going to be babyface heavy. I would have Dustin going up as well. So I'm looking for a heel moment at the end of this night here to kind of balance things out. Unless you want to go babyface heavy, that can be the case too. But you might even see maybe it's time for the elite. They just brought in Matt Hardy, so maybe it's time to see a little dissension in the ranks of the elite. Who knows? But me, I think, once Jericho losing the championship, I want more steam to come back on the Inner Circle right now. I think of the two, I think, seemed like Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega kicked their ass a little bit.
Yeah.
Then Matt Hardy went over on Sammy Guevara. The end of the show this week was being the elite, the big picture, the elite guys back there. So I think the Inner Circle of the two needs to make a statement here.
It seems like you struggled with that a little bit, Shane.
Maybe this is where Adam Page and Kenny Omega finally have their big falling out, and Jericho and company capitalize on that. Jericho needs, if the elite is going to lose, Jericho needs to make that pinfall victory. If Inner Circle lose, then I think they have to beat Chris Jericho. I think Chris Jericho is the most important person in this entire match, because if they beat LAX, well, okay, they beat LAX. If they beat Sammy, well, it's Sammy. I think if they're going to beat Inner Circle, they have to beat Jericho. And if the elite is going to lose, I think Jericho has to get the victory there. Like you said, Shane, all the heat right now is with Chris Jericho. He's the guy that has been the MVP. Even while he's in commentary. I mean, he's the best thing about the show on all aspects.
Yep.
let's go over the card and summarize what you guys have all selected here tonight, how you would book Double or Nothing. But before we do that, Shane, that is one hell of a good-looking shirt you're wearing today.
Oh, well, you know, it kind of makes the shoulders pop a little bit, makes the pecs look a little nice, too. Another fine addition from the Collar and Elbow brand line of T-shirts, which I say every week on Highway to Helms. I wear a Collar and Elbow brand shirt almost every single day.
All right, and Dave Herro, I think you do the same almost every single day, except the difference
gosh.
is your shirt is normally the same shirt every day.
Well, I mean, how can you not want to spend your day with Mean Gene Okerlund? You know what I mean? I mean, you're guaranteed to have a laugh and a drink and some perfect at one point. But yeah, just go to collarandelbowbrand.com, check out all the great things. Of course, Collar and Elbow Brand, raising for the Shad Gaspard family. Hop on there, use promo code BEAST. All of the proceeds of the special Shad Gaspard shirt are going straight to the family, and the numbers are just huge. It's amazing the love and support we've been getting from not only the wrestling fans, the wrestling community, but Hollywood, celebrities, rock stars, you name it. Everyone has been a big fan of Shad Gaspard.
That's collarandelbowbrand.com, collarandelbowbrand.com. And tonight, by the way, you can get a little collar and elbow flavor from OVW Wrestling as well, Ohio Valley Wrestling on YouTube America, broadcasting all over the United States tonight as they do with their weekly show. And you can catch the PWR Primetime Weekend Update during that broadcast as well. So AEW Double or Nothing is tomorrow night on pay-per-view. If these two gentlemen, one gentleman, one man, that didn't even make any sense. The beast with the least. Yes, beast with the least. If these two were booking the show, here's how they would have it done. And we'll go through first the matchup between Dustin Rhodes and Sean Spears. Shane would pick Dustin to go over, or have Dustin go over, win in that matchup. Dave Herro would say Sean Spears would get the win in his book. Best friends picked by both to be the winners in the fantasy booking of that matchup, that tag team matchup, for the chance at the tag team championships. And then it is a different set of opinions as well. Whereas Dave Herro would say Dr. Britt Baker should win the match against Chris Statlander, and Shane Helms picking Chris Statlander to win and booking her to win that matchup. Nyla Rose is the favorite for both in the AEW World Championship on the women's side matchup, where there's no disqualification and no countout. And then the match that's very difficult to book in any scenario, it's a ladder match, the casino ladder match for the chance at the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Darby Allin, selected by David Herro, thank you for those points, by the way, who he would book to win the match. And Shane Helms saying that it will be whoever is to be announced in that matchup. MJF might be to be announced, but MJF will get the win, according to both of you, would get the win over Jungle Boy. John Moxley would retain the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Cody Rhodes would win against Lance Archer, with Mike Tyson getting involved in some way, shape, or form. And then the final matchup, the Stadium Stampede. Shane Helms going with the Inner Circle, and Dave Herro, I believe you would be booking the Elite to win that matchup, unless I heard you wrong.
No, you heard me absolutely correctly.
I was just giving you a chance to back out if you wanted to.
Oh, no.
Let me say this. Because of the ladder match, can we have a second place? Because there's so many. I feel like just one. I think we should need a second place. Dave, was your second place Scorpio Sky?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay,
Scorpio Sky,
that's my second place too. If it's not the mystery opponent, I'm going with Scorpio Sky.
Did you just get some inside info? Did you just get a scoop or something? Is that why you wanted to change that?
No, I mean, I meant to kind of lean that way earlier, but I might have got just doubled up a little bit because I like the mystery opponent, but that might be a misdirect, a little red herring action as well.
You know, it's interesting. Scorpio Sky, I think you guys made this point. You know, he's been somewhat of a sleeper hit in AEW. I don't think there's been a ton of focus on him as of late, and he's a tremendous talent. You said, Shane, that you've always seen it that way. Perhaps, you know, as we talked about recently on this program, the answer is indeed right there in front of us. We just haven't seen it yet.
100% agree.
It is AEW Double or Nothing tomorrow, live on pay-per-view. You can follow us all on Twitter, as you see our names there, at Damian Nelson, at David Herro, and of course, at Shane Helms.com. And Shane, the Highway to Helms podcast is also another great outlet that people can check out on a weekly basis, or whenever you damn well please to drop another one.
Yeah, I try to do it on a weekly basis, but every now and then I get lazy. I got to be honest.
And don't forget PWR today, Monday through Friday. This morning, Dave, it was Meathead and Matthew Thomas. Yesterday, you and Meathead. Every day, Monday through Friday, a brand new podcast to take you with you on your way to wherever you go and do and listen to whenever you do what you do. That is at PWR360.com as well, and on all your podcast service points. And PWR today, each and every Monday through Friday. We'll be back again next week, Thursday, once again with Shane Helms for Primetime Thursday on Fight TV. This has been a bonus episode, our first Be the Booker since returning Dave Herro to the airwaves back in March prior to WrestleMania, and I couldn't think of a better person to join us for this unique broadcast than Shane Helms. Thank you, Shane, for joining us. Been great discussion about AEW Double or Nothing. I'm looking forward to the show on Saturday night. Now that we've fantasy booked it, let's talk about, for each of your personal opinions, which match you're most looking forward to Saturday night from this show. Shane, we'll start with you.
I'm looking forward to the stadium match. With all the characters they got in there and all the personalities, especially now that since Matt's there, and of course, I'm a little biased to one of my best friends, Sumi. I think anybody would be. I'm very interested in what he's going to bring as his version of the Broken Universe to AEW and what can be done during that match. So that's the match and then again, I'm great friends with Chris Jericho, so I got two of my great friends are on opposite sides. So I'm a little bit more than emotionally invested in this.
Dave Herro.
For me, it's between Cody and Lance Archer, just because of the Mike Tyson part of it. But going back to Shane's match, the stadium match, if I don't see Matt Hardy teleport out of some swinging chair shot, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Because he does have those gifts and those powers, and I actually hope to see that. But I mean, you have all the stars, the stadium match, then you have Iron Mike Tyson. Man, can you imagine if they could actually have people in the stands, how they would react to all of that?
And isn't it wonderful that my friend Matt Hardy now has a secret identity, or not so secret identity, and superpowers as well?
Are you saying that you're his Qui-Gon? Is that what's going on here?
I'm just saying that the Herro force is strong within me.
Well, the Herro force has been strong on this show. Dave, Shane, thank you very much for stopping by, and all of you, thank you very much for watching. Hey, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to us. If you're watching here on YouTube, turn your notifications on so you never miss an episode of the show. Bonus episodes like this that come unscheduled, you will be the first to know. And if you are watching on Facebook, like us on Facebook, and also follow us on Twitter. And until next time, for Shane, for Dave, for the entire PWR team, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you very much for joining us, and we'll look forward to interacting with you during Double or Nothing tomorrow night on pay-per-view.